Hey YouTube, thank you for being here with me today. I'm going to tell you now, this is not going to be a feel-good video. So I'm just going to do my base face. After this video is going to be a second video of what I did plan to do today was pair Natasha Denona Xenon palette, which does have some Retro Glam shades in it. Ooh, it has four Retro Glam shades in it. And we're going to pair this with my Lethal Cosmetics BYOP Rainbow Shorebird that my members helped me to name. And this is what that looks like. And so we have a lot of options. So we have like a dark smoky palette and a very colorful palette. But usually I do my base face just, ahead of time. But today I wanted to just talk to y'all. Being here in my station and talking to you guys is one of my happy places. And I was feeling some kind of way earlier. Let's get started. The City Beauty Sangria lip oil, we're going to put that on. And so I'm going to do the intro for those who may be new here. Hello and welcome. My name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy, it's knowing that it's okay to be your authentic self in a world where people will say, don't be this way, don't be that way, don't do this, don't do that. Be who you are. It is very freeing. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique because that's what they're telling you in the videos that you're watching. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. I don't know about anywhere else, but here at the Crazy Troll Nation, our motto is, and what we stand for is self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Listen, y'all, love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. So that's the intro. I hope it resonates with you if this is your first time hearing it. If you've heard it plenty of times before, I do hope that it is part of your affirmation, just loving who you are and being yourself and wearing what you want to and just rocking it. And I will say this, the Crazy Troll Nation is bomb. Like, y'all are amazing. You really are. So two things if you're new here, or if I skipped the intro before and you watched the video and I didn't say it, I do curse sometimes because I curse sometimes. And there's an organism that lives in my throat that randomly, excuse me for shaking you, hiccups, gurgles, and belches. I do try to be aware of it, to say excuse me. Every now and then, one or two will get past me, and when I'm watching it back, I'm just like, ugh. I don't catch it in editing because when I edit, I do edit out like a chunk. Or even if I am listening to it, I just may not hear it for some reason, or because I'm distracted because I'm multitasking. But so that's about me. So what happened is, I am nocturnal. I go to sleep. I think I went to sleep this morning probably around 8 o'clock, and I do wake up every 90 minutes or so. And I'll check messages, which I shouldn't, because sometimes I'll reply back to text messages, and later in the day I'm like, what? Or it might not make sense. But so I saw an email from the electric company, and it looked kind of spammy. It really did. So I just left it, and I said, when I wake up, I'll just read it again when I'm up and alert. And when I did finally get up, I saw that I had received a second email from the electric company. The subjects were different, but the body of the email was exactly the same. And I'm like, why did they do that? But so basically, and then I text my neighbor, and I'm like, did you get that email? Because it didn't really make too much sense. And so we were, talking about that. So the bottom line, if I'm understanding it correctly, our electric bills are going to go up at least by $10, they say. And for those who don't know, because it's something I didn't really think about, was all of the energy here in the United States doesn't originate here. And it just makes the tariff stuff even more stupid. And so I'm like, so if the supplier for the electricity isn't here in the United States, the prices are going to go up. And even if a company, this is my opinion, and let me know what you think about this, even if the supplier or whatever brand, because y'all know I've been looking at, well, if you've been here, you know I've been looking at the brands of everything I've been buying. Like I'll buy something or I'll just randomly pick up something I have and I'm looking to see where it's made from. And I realized the United States of America produces very little on its own without global components or ingredients or something. And it just makes this even more, this tariff war, it makes it even more stupid to me because but anyway, so this is Y10, and I'm using this today because I started watching Grace's video, and she was saying she wants to repurchase this one, and this is the one that I did not reorder. I reordered NY11, which is what I put here, and I ordered NY12, which is the one I put here. And usually I just put Y10 on the outside, like just so I don't waste it. And so, and I'm lighter than she is. And so I'm thinking like, if she's reordering Y10, let me do this again. And when I used it when I first got it, I didn't like it. I thought it was a little off, but then it oxidizes, and that's what I did not know. But it was still just, it did brighten my under eye area, which I'm not used to. Over foundation, it doesn't oxidize as much. And I have been using all of these over foundation lately. But on my bare skin, like it oxidizes. And so the longer I had it on, when I first tried it, I was like, oh, okay. But it was still lighter than I'm used to because I do like my under eye to look natural. I don't want it to look brighter because it's not bright. But I said, let me try this today to see. And so, like, yeah, that to me doesn't look natural. But it is a nice look, though. I do admit that, but I'm just not used to my under eye being bright because it's naturally not bright. So to me, it doesn't look natural, but it does look nice. So it just makes the tariff war like even more stupid to me. Because let me know what you think about this. I know I didn't finish this sentence earlier. Even if a company or a brand does by chance make all of its stuff here, all of the components, all the ingredients come from within the United States, I feel like they're going to increase prices anyway because they know it may be something we need to buy. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about that. And I remember when gas prices was like, $2 and something, and then gas prices went up and people got to get to work, take the kids to school, whatever. So we had to buy gas. Like there was no way around not buying gas unless you wanted to get a horse and buggy. You know what I'm saying? And so I do feel like even if prices don't need to go up for a certain thing, I believe it will, because if it's something that we're used to, we're still going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Food prices go up. You might have to start being choosy on, okay, I'm not going to get chips and soda this week. Let me just get more, canned goods or whatever. And so I do feel like it's going to be a lifestyle change for us regular people, us working class people, or me retired, so I'm living off of my VA. The Y10 does look good. It does look, so now I'm like, do I want to order another one of those? So I've been ordering like a backup of all my staple items because I know prices are going to go up, and I have been using codes, coupons, discounts, and stuff. But you know what, Grace? The Y10 looks good. So now I'm like, damn, do I want to order one of those? And so I'm just like, so I was in my feelings about that. And my rent right now, April, today is the 18th, I think. For April, my rent went up. I pay now $1,420 for rent. I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 740 square foot apartment. $1,420. No, $1,420. $1,420 I pay for rent. It is a safe community. Maintenance is on point. And so, but when I first moved here, rent went up every other year, like $15. But then maybe like 5 years ago, it started going up every year. And so I think they're trying to catch us up. I've been here since 2012. I think they're trying to catch us up to market value. Like if you were a new person coming here, your rent would be more than my rent. So I do think they're trying to catch us up, which of course I don't think is fair, but I'm just like, damn. And before y'all say a mortgage would be cheaper, the mortgage would be cheaper, but then I got to pay for maintenance. I got to pay to have the lawn taken care of. If anything breaks down, I'm going to have to pay to have somebody come in. A couple weeks ago, my toilet was acting funny. Maintenance came the next day. If that was a house, and I didn't have to pay anything, right? Because it's maintenance. I would have had to pay a plumber. And then 2 days after that, it acted up again. So he came back again. That would have been another cost. And so before you say, oh, a mortgage would be cheaper, yes, it would. But either I'm going to pay the money for mortgage either I'm going to pay the money for rent and not pay for any repairs, any lawn maintenance, anything that breaks down in here, or have a low mortgage, but then have to come out of pocket for all the other stuff. So in my mind, let me know what you think about this too. In my mind, either way, that money's spent. And who leaves an apartment to have a lower mortgage and really saves the difference between what they paid in rent and what the mortgage is? Who really does that? I don't know anybody that does. I know people that move saying it's cheaper, but then they're like, oh man, my water, one of my pipes burst and I got to pay, $2,500. And they're like, I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with, I am liking the Y10. Holy crap. I'm going to put another layer of the Y12 under my nose because when I don't, later when I look at the video, I'm like, damn, my mustache area is looking disrespectful. But, so I was feeling like stuff is just going to keep going up. And I did watch, it was like a 2 or 3 minute video of Obregon Garcia that was abducted and sent over to El Salvador. And I'm like, if that could happen to him, y'all, that could happen to any of us. The only people that I think are somewhat safe, and even from terrorists, I think they may be safe, are the wealthy people. And that's why I keep saying us regular people, us people who depend on our money. And it's like, okay, if I miss one check, everything is going to be late. No bills will be paid, that type of thing. But that really hit me in my feelings because number one, if they can like just do what they did, like breaking constitutional law, all of that. And if that can happen to him, that can happen to any of us. And even though it's not on my birth certificate, my maternal great-grandfather was Cuban. And he came here and he naturalized. And so I'm mixed race. And there's some indigenous nation, some Indian on my father's side. And so I'm like all mixed up. But if they trace my lineage, it goes back to a plantation somewhere down south. Like seriously, it does. And so that's me, as far as my DNA goes and family history. But I was thinking, y'all, I was just really in my feelings. Because then too, I was thinking of other stuff. Like us here in the United States, we are so fucking comfortable. And just so, first world problems, I do say that sometimes. He asked for a phone call and he was denied a phone call. And I was thinking like, damn, I don't even know nobody's phone number by heart. I mean, I would have to get, a couple names and numbers tattooed on my body. So if something happened, at least I can know who to call. And so I'm like, I am just so dependent. Even though I'm not tech savvy, I don't know anybody's phone number by heart. Except my grandmother, and she passed. And I don't even know if the family member that took over the property, I don't even know if the number's the same. And so I'm just like, damn. Like, so if I got abducted and sent to another country, I was just like, damn. Like, what would I do? Unless I just memorize the number to the U.S. Embassy, but then are they going to do what they're supposed to do? Because a lot of stuff that's going on now is stuff that shouldn't be happening because of executive orders or whatever. And we know 47 is going to keep lying about even knowing stuff or being accountable for stuff. But I was just like, and I was just in my feelings about that, like, damn. And we know United States people go missing every year. In other countries, people go missing every year. And, his wife didn't even know if he was alive or not. And when they abducted him, they took him somewhere in Maryland. Then they took him to another place in Maryland. Then they put him on a plane and he gets off the plane in El Salvador. So he didn't even know like where he was going. You know what I mean? And that's some scary shit. That is some scary shit. And so I am glad that the senator went over there and they did allow him, to see him. But it's just like, what the actual fuck? So you can just take somebody out of their car and they said when he was driving, he had his 5-year-old autistic son in the car. And so I don't know if anybody else was in the car, but I'm thinking, like, what happened to the kid? I mean, the kid's home now, but I'm like, was there another person in the car, a friend in the car, another family member in the car? So you're just abducting the father, and their 5-year-old autistic son is just in the vehicle with them. So it's all sorts of fucked up. And so there are times when I do think to leave the country. And initially it was, okay, am I going to get my health care? But they have subreddits for almost everything on Reddit. And so I did look, I have been looking at that. There are good VA care and VA hospitals in some other countries, and some you just have to go to like a regular hospital. So I'm like, okay, so that's not a concern depending on where I would go. I'm not committed to going anywhere. It's just a thought that comes through my mind, and part of me feels like, is it just a matter of time? And that I am my own problem because I'm not an outgoing person. So for me to go to another country, even if it's an English-speaking country, how is my life going to be? Because I'm not outgoing, so I'm not going to be going out, meeting people, hanging out. I'll just be sitting in my apartment doing videos and trying to, restart my makeup artistry career over there and still do videos. But it's like, I'm not outgoing. And to go somewhere new where I don't know anybody and to feel like I need to trust somebody, that scares me, like, seriously. And I actually started crying because I was just like, even if they say, like, it's like deal with the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, but it's still the devil. You know what I'm saying? So I thought my eyebrows looked decent earlier. Now I'm looking at them and like, this one's over here and this one's in here, which is usually how they are. But then if I fix this one's going to be in here and this one's going to look like it's over there. And so I was just like, and sometimes I wish, which is irrelevant because it's not the situation. Sometimes I wish that I had a family member that lived in another country, because I would say, hey, I'm going to come stay with you for like 2 months until I find a place and get on my feet. Because for some countries, what I get for my disability is enough where I would be comfortable in some countries. In other countries, not so much. But it's just, I'm afraid, and I'm just going to say it. And there are some countries that have like really strong expat communities, but that doesn't mean all of them are trustworthy. So, I feel like I would still be a target, and really it's just me being scared. And so I am admitting that to go somewhere new, put my trust in someone and be taken advantage of, or, worse. So those are the things that I think about. And so I did actually cry today because like, it's just, and I do, and even though what I'm about to say sounds contradictory, right? I refuse to live in fear, but yet I know I haven't made a plan to leave because I'm afraid. You know what I mean? But my day-to-day life, I'm not afraid. I am still very cautious because they can just pick you up and put you on a plane somewhere and you don't even get a phone call home. But I know it's going to be okay one way or another. But it's just been a day where, and it's like something has to give soon, I keep saying. You know what I mean? But what if nothing does give? And I said in a different video, I am actually picking by choice now. This is the first Haus Labs bronzer I purchased, medium level 7. Haus Labs blush, hibiscus haze, and Haus Labs highlighter and golden pyrite. These are the first 3 that I purchased, and that I had for a while before I branched out into other colors. But I'm just like, something has got to give. And I also feel like even if by a miracle 47 walked back all the tariff nonsense, other countries, I would still be like, F you. Because you're not just going to keep playing this game. And it's really just stupid. It is really just stupid. And especially, like I said, the United States makes so little of any one thing on its own. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's just stupid. And okay, you're going to build factories. That takes years. And then you're talking about automating factories. Okay, so you're going to get people to build factories. That's at least like a 5-year plan. You're going to have people build factories, but then the work is going to be done by automation. So you're still, so the jobs you're giving is only temporary. So it's just like, do people like put two and two together? Oh, he's going to bring back jobs. Jobs ain't never go nowhere. The reason it was outsourced to other countries was because labor costs less. You know, those in power are not trying to lose no money. And for the work that the so-called immigrants would do, it was jobs that us Americans don't want to do. So it's like, you're not taking jobs from us. They were doing jobs that we didn't want to do, first world problems, and for less pay. The whole thing is just stupid. So anyway, yeah, I was just really in my feelings today. Let me know your thoughts on this below. If this upsets you, I want to apologize, but I really feel like I can't, because my feelings are my feelings, and I know other people are in their feelings too, and it's valid. Like, if you really just listen to stuff, it's just like, wow. They can just stop your vehicle and just take you away and leave your kid in the car or whatever. I don't know what they did with the kid, but that's the reality of the world in which we live right now. And so it's just like, I do know, well, not personally, but I have heard, people, planning to leave the country. Some people, I'm hearing they did leave the country. But it's just, yeah, I'm afraid though. And I admit that. This is luminous light from Hourglass. And so I will admit that. So a friend of mine was like, they might move. I said, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you do go to another country, I am going to be visiting you for at least like 2 months and be like, until I get myself on my feet and find a place to live. They were like, okay, not a problem. And I have been called a hermit by 2 different people who didn't know that the other person said that. So I am very much like a homebody, aside from, events, doing faces and stuff like that. And so I just feel like if I were to go somewhere else, whether it was an English-speaking country or not, I'm going to just be sitting inside. And I don't think that's the way to live. But even though I'm comfortable here, like just sitting inside. This is Eternal Light from Hourglass. I'm going to use a different brush for this. But it's like, what do y'all think? Like, do y'all like have thoughts of leaving? I've heard some other people say, well, actually someone I know in my day-to-day life, he said as soon as his kid graduates high school, is it high school or college? College. He said when his daughter graduates college, he said he is out of here. He said he's just going to travel, but I don't know if he meant like in the U.S. or overseas. But people I know in my day-to-day life, are making plans. And yeah, so I'm just trying to get my head together and part of me does want to leave, but then part of me is afraid because I would be a target. I opened my mouth too soon. I am told my face speaks for me, and I think that's what would make me a target, because I'd be walking around like, what's happening? And they're like, yeah, she new here. But we'll see. I think sometimes of like who has extra space, or like who has, an apartment that they don't use, so I do think of like options here, but that doesn't mean I still might not get abducted. And I really don't think I am, but then who does? Who does think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out to the store today and I'm gonna get abducted and put on a plane and don't know where I end up until I get there? Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Who thinks about those things? But I just wanted to come on and just chit chat with y'all, and I do feel better now than earlier. I'm here doing a video, which is one of my happy places, and I'm gonna do this afterwards, as I mentioned earlier, and get busy with the pro side of things. I did a members only post that over 4.5 hours, unpacking, repacking, unpacking, girl, slow down, unpacking, inventorying, and repacking a bag, and everything except 2 items as far as just the actual makeup fit into one bag, the larger one that I had purchased. And so I still had the brush bag that had stuff in there, and then I have a cosmetic bag with foundation, you know, complexion stuff. And so the smaller bag that I originally had, I said I can put all of that stuff in there. So then I'll just have the 2 bags and still just have the brush bag. And so I'm going to do that tonight or tomorrow, because it's almost 10 o'clock at night. So 2 hours it will be tomorrow. So that's going to keep me busy. And I'm going to eat a salad somewhere in there. Yo, I'm losing weight. And you know what it was? I stopped buying junk food. Every now and then somebody will bring me junk food, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. But yeah, I've been losing weight, and I do feel better at this weight. So I'm gonna eat a salad later. They've been on sale at BJ's, and so I've been buying salads more again. And I do usually eat more salads in the spring and in the summer. But yeah, so that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on that, on the tariff war. Like, do you agree with it? And listen, I'm gonna say this now. No bashing nobody in the comments. We all have our thoughts, we all have our feelings, we all have our beliefs. And so if somebody comes on here and they say, oh, well, tariffs is a good idea, you know, it's going to help the economy in the long run. If you don't like that comment, then just don't comment on it. You know what I'm saying? But I want everyone here to feel free to say how you feel. And just to sound off on like how you're doing, like in your day-to-day life. Like, do you have concerns? Is there anything that you're afraid of, or something that you're more mindful of? And, you know, what do you think of this tariff war? Do you think, you know, sometimes of leaving the country? And I know it's more than just leaving. Me being unpartnered, I could just pick up and go, make a plan and just go. Like, there's no children depending on me. There's nobody depending on me for care. And so I could just be like, deuces, next video, I'm somewhere else. And y'all like, where the hell you at? I'm like, girl, I'm in Belize. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts on all of this, and the abduction thing, and, you know, just a complete lack of respect or adherence to the United States Constitutions, which is just like, so yeah, 47 is just doing all kinds of stuff. And sometimes I do feel like certain things that happen are just a distraction. But then there's some things that's like, this is huge. Like, this is going to set a precedent. If this goes through as being okay by the Supreme Court, it's going to change a whole lot of stuff. So my mind is like, something has got to give, because somebody has got to say, no, you're wrong. And then when they do, he still does what he does anyway. So, like, where's the consequences? You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. It's like, okay, if he can keep getting away with stuff, like, where is this going to end? It's never going to end. It's never going to end. There's always going to be something else. But yes, I'm really going to go this time, y'all. Thank you for hearing me out. If you're in your feelings, you know, do something that puts you in your happy place. And, you know, just know, I can't even say no, things will be okay. But I do believe they're going to bring him back some kind of way, or whoever. But just try to stay encouraged. Keep in touch with your support network. Do things that you find joy in, or things that enhance your happiness. With me, is makeup, and also Mahjong. I do really need to get back to playing that. I have been reading a little bit more lately, and so that kind of takes me away. But then when I put the book down, when the video's over and I've edited and scheduled it, everything else is still the same. You know what I mean? And so that's where your support system comes in handy. Affirmations for yourself, and just doing the best you can to get through each day. So that is my thoughts on that. And I know it's hard. Well, I imagine it's hard for everyone, because all of us are in this situation together. And that's what pisses me off about the newstainment channels. And I have stopped watching them. It was one in particular I watched, supporting, you know, black folk. But I became increasingly annoyed that it's like, yeah, that's what they get, ha ha ha, and they're laughing, that's what they voted for. And it really was really grating my nerves, because regardless of that's what somebody voted for, we all have to deal with the consequences, every single one of us. And so why is that funny to you? Or are you not thinking long term? Well, not even long term, but are you not thinking past, oh yeah, they voted for him, that's what they get, ha ha ha. We all are dealing with the consequences of the vote. And so I'm like, that is not funny to me. And so that one particular person, I did stop watching, because it's like, all of us we're all in the same situation, dealing with the same bullshit. So why is it funny? And, even saying that this isn't what they voted for, well, I do believe that is what they voted for, because they knew from his last term the type of person he was, having bankrupt every business he had. You knew he was, and all of that's just stupid too, but I'm not going to get into that. But there were telltale signs that it was not a good choice, but we all still have to deal with it. And it's not funny, and it's not a joke. And I don't think it's ever funny laughing at someone else's pain. I really don't. And whether you think they deserved it or not, like, what do we deserve? If you're saying, okay, they deserve that, what do we deserve? Because all of us have issues. All of us may think, different ways, but that doesn't make it okay for us to have to deal with something negative. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not funny. It's not a joke. This is our real life right now, unfortunately. And I do think I do really believe we are going to come through this. We are going to come through this. We've been through, well, not us here now, but the United States has been through the Great Depression. It's been through plagues. It's been through, recessions, and the United States is still here. And so I don't want to say if I'm encouraged or not, because it did change a lot of things, but I do really believe we're going to get through it. But what it looks like on the other side, and, first world problems that I'm going to say it, we're spoiled and we're complacent. We're used to the luxuries that we have, even though we complain about other stuff. Oh my gosh, gas prices are going up. But you know what? We still buy that gas. You know what I'm saying? Groceries, we do have to eat. And my heart does go out to those who do depend on, their checks for groceries and, healthcare and stuff like that. And it's just like, something has got to give sooner or later, y'all, like, seriously. But anyway, yeah, I already said like twice I'm gonna go. I'm really gonna go now. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Stuff is popping up over here for you to watch, and if you have time, hang on, watch something else. Other videos will be more lively than this one. It won't be such a downer, but I share a lot of things with you all, and so I'm like, I'm feeling this kind of way. I'm gonna just film the complexion part of my look and just talk about it, because every moment is not a good moment. Every day is not a good day. And so just showing all the good stuff and then, hey, that's not every day. And so this is me, and these are my feelings, and so we'll see what happens. So I thank you for being here, and subscribe, consider joining, like, share, and all that stuff, and you will see me soon.